A very good evening to you and welcome to TV47 Weekend. It is the 15th day of April 2023. Welcome to the Bulletin. Catherine Simeloi is on the sign language interpretation. I'm used to Lee Stanley. Nyerungita Quatalalt lined up just for you, but then to the highlights.
Tonight, millions of Kenyans to suffer as healthcare workers in 12 counties vow to avoid work on Wednesday.
Kaunti 12 wajilipa mshahara, hawatakuwa na daktari yoyote, hatakuwa na muuguzi, hawatakuwa na watu wa nutrition, au mtu wote wafanyakazi wa afya hatakuwa hospitalini.
Also tonight, President and his Kenya Kwanza Brigade slammed the Azimio side of a protest recall.
Hawa viongozi wenzangu mimi nawauliza jameni, tulimaliza mambo ya viongozi tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 mwaka uliopita. Ile kazi imebakia ni kazi ya wananchi.
That the government of President William Ruto will protect you fully, and you should not be intimidated, you should not be harassed by anybody.
Saying they are behind the failing economy.
And these are the people who are going to the streets and telling us that we should lower the prices of everything. Didn't you think about it when you are signing those contracts?
Plus, Ministry of Education makes changes at the Mukumu Girls High School.
We have now admitted in Kakamega, Chenda Hospital, Referral Hospital, is only 4, and there are another 8 that is also admitted in various other hospitals.
Even as a section of leaders want the ESCC to investigate cartels that could have caused the outbreak that has claimed 4 lives.
But before you open the schools, parents, hear me loud and clear. Don't accept for the school to be opened until and unless the changes I've said on the administrations are effected.
Hello there, you're probably having a hot plate of ugali on your table right about now. Now listen to this story. President William Ruto has announced that the price of unga will be brought down to 150 shillings from next week. The president made the announcement on Saturday as he toured Narok to launch projects. He went ahead to take a swipe at the Raila Odinga-led Azimio coalition over its announcement that it will resume maandamano protests, which will take place concurrently with talks with the government.
Wamefikisha bei ya unga 230. Saa hii bei ya unga iko 170, kupitia next week itakuwa 150, tukiteremusha inakuja chini. Ati mbinu yao ya kubadilisha ama ya kupunguza gharama ya unga ati ni kuweka sufuria kwa kichwa, kwenda kufanya maandamano, kuharibu mali ya wananchi, kuharibu biashara ya wananchi. Sio ni ukumbavu kubwa sana? Ama ni ujinga? Sasa mimi nauliza wewe mtu ya Narok, ukiweka sufuria kwa kichwa na uende kuharibu mali ya wananchi barabarani, kuwafanyia maandamano, bei ya unga itapungua namna gani? Bei ya unga itapungua kweli? So hawa watu wawache kutuhadaa ama namna gani? Na mimi nataka niwaulize.
Right now to a sad story. Following a disease outbreak in Mukumu Girls High School that led to the indefinite closure of the school, Education Cabinet Secretary who visited the school has made new changes of the principal, stating that the government has put in place measures to ensure students resume in the next 2 weeks.
A day after the Ministry of Education stated that the outbreak at Mukumu Girls High School might have been caused by the use of contaminated water, leaders in the Ministry of Education led by Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu, Kakamega County leaders as well as religious leaders visited the school to assess its conditions and set out measures to ensure resumption of studies. In a statement on Friday, Ministry of Health Director General Dr. Patrick Amoth said the disease could be a mixture of E. coli and Salmonella typhi, which occurs when water sources are contaminated with the 2 microorganisms, especially from the sewer system. And now the Education Ministry, which is in charge of ensuring learners' safety in schools, has been forced to make changes which include transferring the principal, disbanding the school's board, and ordering the sinking of a new borehole.
Considering the situation and the circumstances that we are in, we have brought in a new headmistress, principal for that school, by the name Sister Jane Mbone Amukoya, with immediate effect. She will be the principal of that particular school. All the food that is in the store is going to be destroyed, even as much as we have not confirmed that there was any particular problem emanating from the food. We are going to destroy all the food, and going forward, we are going to procure a new consignment of food for the students as they come.
This even as Kakamega Senator Dr. Boni Halwale says there is more than what meets the eye besides the sanitation issue.
We urge that the school be opened immediately. But before you open the schools, parents, hear me loud and clear. Don't accept for the school to be opened until and unless the changes I've said on the administrations are effected, and two, until the water system is overhauled.
The school, with a population of over 2,000 students, was closed indefinitely on 31st of March due to the outbreak of a disease that saw over 300 students affected and admitted to the Kakamega Regional Hospital.
We have now liaised very closely with our Ministry of Education, and I'm happy to announce that the Ministry of Education has committed to do a borehole at Mukumu Girls. Of course, we are also happy that the Ministry of Education again has gladly provided a purifier equipment, almost 6 million, that is going to do purification of water.
It is true, yes, that this is a situation that has called upon all of us to collaborate, and I'm happy county government, the national government and all stakeholders have been on the job, and the measures that are being proposed, we all agree with them.
Kakamega County leaders led by Governor Fernandez Baraza and Senator Boni Halwale wants the national government to ensure that the state of the school is looked into with proper hygiene facilities before the reopening of the school. Gilbert Nalwa, TV47.
Now, CS Health Susan Mukumu has put Kenyans on high alert of a diarrhea outbreak, saying the ministry is keen and ready to tackle cases reported in most parts of the county. Mukumu says many parts of the country have experienced the outbreak, forcing the ministry to lay down preventive measures by focusing on hygiene and sanitation awareness, which is a major challenge to avert a fear of further spread of the disease. Mukumu says the ministry is giving priority to the preventive approach to ensure communities are not exposed to the risk of the disease.
Yes, and not just in Garissa, but across the country. And as you are aware, the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto gives a focus that we are moving from curative to preventive and promotive health services. Preventive and promotive is where we focus on things like hygiene and sanitation. Most of these diarrhea cases is because we are not taking care of the base of the health sector. We are taking care of the top. So when we focus now and focus on prevention and promotive, ensure that the health standards, the sanitation is done, even in the schools that we're experiencing issues, if only proper sanitation, proper hygiene and food handling and storage, that should be able to take care of diarrhea cases within the country, not just in Garissa.
And still in the same docket, health unions such as KMPDU, KUCO and KNUN, among others, have announced lack of medical services in 12 counties from the 19th of April, citing a delay in salary payments. Elizabeth Atieno now reports.
Tonight, the clock is ticking for governors in 12 counties yet to pay healthcare workers. By Wednesday, the health workers have vowed to avoid work, a situation that could make millions of already struggling Kenyans suffer even more to access healthcare. This comes just hours after health unions on Saturday issued a joint statement addressed to 12 county governors warning that if the health workers from those counties will not be paid their salaries and statutory deductions, then they will be forced to stay at home on that fateful day as they are already facing financial hardships.
You know, ideally we should have given a strike notice, but we chose not to give a strike notice because we realized that there's need to offer services. And the members of both the union, KMPDU, Canaan, KUKO, and all other unions that we have signed are ready to be at work. But a time comes when you are not able to go to work because you've not been facilitated or supported to be at work. And this is the scenario that we have where there has been a consistent occasional delays in salaries to the point that some counties were paying the salary for February last week, like in Kisumu. That's why we are saying all these counties, we cannot normalize the salary delays, that your salary of 1 month should bypass to the other month to be paid. And therefore, we have given up to 19th, which is almost past half the month, to pay all the salaries for all these healthcare workers in all the counties. And if that fails, then it's very clear that on 19th, all the healthcare workers, that is the doctors, the nurses, the clinical officers, and all the nutritionists in all those counties will stage a walkout from work.
Counties listed by the health unions include Kisumu, Mombasa, Nyamira, Murang'a, Nyeri, Laikipia, Bomet, Nyandarua, Embu, Vihiga, and Taita Taveta.
Hivyo ni heri ya counties kutafuta pesa na kulipa hawa watu mshahara, na pia serikali kuu inafaa kutumia pesa ya ugatuzi jinsi inavyotakikana, kwa sababu wafanyikazi katika county, na iwapo kunao delay wa kudisburse funds katika counties, ni ishara kuwa hawajaprioritize healthcare ipasavyo. Kwa hivyo mambo ya access ya healthcare hawezi kuwepo ikiwa wafanyikazi wenyewe hawajalipwa.
The health practitioners are now calling on the governors to quickly process the salary payment for the affected healthcare workers so as to enhance the delivery of health services. According to KMPDU Secretary General Dr. Davji Atela, the government has neglected the health sector, which is critical, not forgetting that Article 43 of the Kenyan Constitution provides that every Kenyan has a right to the highest standards of healthcare services.
It is quite unfortunate that when the parliamentarians were not paid just for a few days delay, for 1 month, and again all these other civil servants, there was an outcry. But now, because all those have been paid, everything has normalized, yet healthcare workers, who we believe are essential service providers, are not treated as essential to be paid on time, like the teachers, like the police, or like any other. And that's why we are demonstrating our frustration and the need to prioritize healthcare workers.
All eyes are now on the 12 county governments listed by KMPDU, Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, and Kenya National Union of Nurses, among other health unions, to see if they will find a solution to the looming medical crisis or if patients will be forced to seek services in other health facilities. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Let's talk politics now. The government has lashed out at Azimio's brigade to recall mass protests after the Ramadan fast, saying it is a ploy by the Raila Odinga outfit to stifle the already struggling economy. Now, speaking in 3 different events earlier today, President William Ruto, his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi say Odinga is using his supporters as pawns in a bid to rise to power.
In his Narok development tour, President William Ruto is seemingly seen as firing salvos to cool the Azimio planned political meetings and demonstrations after Ramadan, the head of state calling out Odinga for what he said is his selfish pursuit of power.
Kiwango ya kwamba unakimbiza ile unataka wewe kama kiongozi na pale katikati unaharibu mali ya wananchi wa Kenya. It cannot be fair. It is not right for any leader in Kenya, while they are prosecuting their selfish agenda on what they want as leaders, in the process, they destroy property, they cause chaos, they destroy life.
His deputy Rigathi Gachagua was at the same time at Lake Olbolosat for tree planting exercise. Gachagua blasted Azimio leaders for writing to International Criminal Court, calling for an investigation on Inspector General of Police Japheth Koome, who they accuse of ordering for excessive force during Azimio's demonstrations.
The people who should be taken to ICC are those Azimio characters who have destroyed life, property belonging to the people of Kenya. So I want to assure the IG of Kenya that the government of President William Ruto will protect you fully.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, speaking in Sabatia constituency, said that Azimio leader Raila Odinga should blame himself for his loss during the August 9, 2022 polls. He also took up issues with President Ruto's predecessor, blaming former President Uhuru's regime for the current economic woes by entering into financial agreements that have left the country's economy bleeding.
Kwa hiyo project moja watafute 80 billion shillings in a year to repay. And these are the people who are going to the streets and telling us that we should lower the prices of everything. Didn't you think about it when you are signing those contracts? Kwa hivyo tukisema tuende kiholela, itabidi serikali iwe inaongeza ushuru kila siku.
The president is walking on a tightrope as he tries to balance between giving in to Azimio's demands or the protest that could have a negative impact on the economy.
Ambaye hakuna milk cooling plant, ndio muweze kukusanya maziwa yenu na maziwa yenu isiharibike. Mkikamua maziwa mnapeleka pale kwa milk chilling plant, inakuwa chilled, alafu mnatafuta bei mzuri. Na mimi nimesema hii bei ya maziwa lazima tuiangalie vizuri.
A day after promising to lower the price of maize flour, he promised locals in Narok County to support their farming as this will ensure a healthy economy.
Ili tupunguze gharama ya chakula, ili tupunguze gharama ya maisha, ni mkulima aende shambani azalishe chakula, ndio tuweze kuwa na chakula ya kutosha, gharama ipungue. Na mimi nawashukuru wakulima wa Kenya wote.
For a functional modern economy, kuna mambo kadhaa ambazo tunaangalia. Lakini naangalia moja, inaitwa property rights. Ya kwamba wewe ukiwa na biashara yako, hakuna mtu anafaa kuja aiharibu. Na rais wetu amekaa gagali to protect the businesses of Kenya from hao watu wa maandamano na violence.
The president is expected to tour Machakos County tomorrow, where he will attend a church service and hold a political rally. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
And still on the same matters, the Azimio coalition will hold a rally tomorrow at the historic Kamukunji grounds to pile pressure on President William Ruto to heed to the opposition's key demands for the bipartisan talks. Sunday's rally, dubbed Open the Servers Now, will also serve as the platform for Azimio coalition leader Raila Odinga to give a date and schedule of street protests meant to resume after this holy month of Ramadan. And as Apollo Kumar reports, the Azimio rally comes on a weekend President William Ruto questioned the logic of the protests instead of dialogue.
In yet another week of musical chairs between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, the opposition continues to pile pressure on President William Ruto to heed to their four key demands for the agenda at the bipartisan talks. Azimio la moja kwa
this dialogue for deals in smoke-filled rooms. We are going into this to secure and safeguard fundamental life and death gains for the people and the country.
During Sunday's event, Odinga is expected to give new dates for street protests, despite an appeal by President William Ruto questioning the logic of the demos running parallel to the talks.
Nimewaambia kama kuna maneno, si kuna bunge, na tumechagua watu kule bunge, si waende waongee hiyo maneno. Kwani nyinyi mnajua mahali saba iko? Sasa mtu anakuja kusumbua nyinyi ate saba mtajua saba iko kuko na wani.
A strategic week for the Azimio camp after Kenya Kwanza refused to widen the scope of the bipartisan talks, narrowing it to the reconstitution of IEBC during a PG at State House on Tuesday. Kenya Kwanza's defiance was met with a heavy response, with Odinga declaring a return of mass protests to run parallel to the talks.
Mazungumzo endelee na maandamano sambamba.
Azimio's negotiating team has also called out Kenya Kwanza for developing cold feet to the talks, given Kenya Kwanza is yet to appoint a co-chair to the talks and has no response on when the talks will start.
That we do not know who to engage. Until they name their co-chair, we won't know who to approach. We are waiting for them to name their co-chair, then we can reach out.
Azimio's letter to the International Criminal Court, ICC, has not helped matters either and is seen as strategic by political pundits. The letter to court prosecutor Karim Khan, President Ruto's former lawyer, has leveled 9 charges against Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome, piling pressure on the government and the police on how they handle protesters and to force the government back and accept Azimio's demands. Apol Kamau, TV47.
Let's focus on matters security now. And Kenya Airways has suspended all flights to Khartoum for the weekend as military and paramilitary units engage in fighting. So far, 3 civilians have lost their lives, with several others nursing injuries, according to the country's doctors' union. In the better part of the day, exchange of fire ensued between the military led by the Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and a paramilitary group, Rapid Support Forces, RSF, led by General Mohamed Dagalo. On Saturday, this even as citizens fear the tensions may escalate to civil war and a coup. For the better part of Saturday, gunshots and bomb explosions rented the air in Khartoum and Meroe in Sudan as smoke continued to bellow. A situation that has led to the death of 3 individuals as several others were injured, according to the Sudan Doctors' Council. It is believed that the unrest was caused by the ongoing tension between the rank and file of the Sovereign Council, chaired by the Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his deputy General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, following delayed plans to sign an agreement on the transitional government. Among the conditions for civilian rule, the Rapid Support Forces, led by General Dagalo, also known as Hemeti, is seeking to have the RFS integrated into the army. Early in the day, Dagalo said that the army surrounded one of its camps and fired using military artillery. In its Twitter page, RSF also says that it has taken control of 2 other airports in the northern town of Meroe and the town of El Obeid in the southern side of the country. The clash has affected foreign travel, with all flights at Khartoum Airport being cancelled. This even as citizens fear that this situation could lead to a civil war, slowly peeling away the chances of having a free and fair general election in July this year. Now, this even as external players are calling for peace dialogues, including President William Ruto. And just to read you an excerpt, an extract on the press statement from State House, which reads, and I quote, "Kenya and the Guard states are available and ready to contribute to the resolution of this unfortunate incident. I am actively consulting with the regional leadership and other relevant international partners to seek ways to support dialogue and mediation in Sudan." We'll definitely be keeping our eyes to see how things will be unfolding in Sudan. Back home, political leaders and human rights bodies in Kilifi County are calling on the judiciary not to release controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie on bond as the search for mass grave where his supporters are said to have been buried intensifies. Mackenzie, who surrendered to the Malindi Friday, will be arraigned in court Monday. Dennis Otieno with more.
Law enforcement officers have pitched tent in Shakahola area of Chakama in Kilifi County in a fact-finding mission after they were accused of letting controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie get away with brainwashing his supporters to fast to death. Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro, together with human rights bodies, now want the judiciary not to release him on bond once he is arraigned in court on Monday after he surrendered himself at the Malindi DCI headquarters late Friday.
Tunataka huyu jamaa safari hii asitoke huko. Na tunahimiza polisi na prosecutor na hata hiyo koti wahakikisha akiingia kwa apewi bond huyu. Ningekuwa amri yangu mngemchukulia nyumba moja mwekee polisi alindwe hizo wiki mbili tumuone akiishi na yafunge naye tumuone bila maji ya kunywa na kula. Jana tulichukua mili 5 na watu 9 ambao wako mahututi kwa sababu ya desturi. Hata afadhali angelikuwa na practice uganga. Ni dini gani ya kwenda kufungia watu wafe na njaa kwa nyumba?
It is reported that 2 out of the 11 rescued on Friday have succumbed. 3 others who had declined to eat while in hospital are said to have been taken to police station to be forced to eat.
PP na AG, Inspector General pia polisi, waangalie sana kwa nini mtu apelekwe tu mahakamani the other time watu wamekufa, alafu ameachiliwa na bond very soft na amerudi tena na wanazidi kuendelea. Kiriba goji kajukiriba tu kuchezea watu akili. Tunataka serikali iwe serious kwa masuala haya.
As of now, Pastor Mackenzie is being held at the Malindi police station awaiting his arraignment on Monday.
So, DPP, this time round, waangalie ni jinsi gani wanaweza contain huyu mtu. Kupata bondi ni haki yake, lakini yekwe bondi ya juu, sio soft bondi nyembamba, ili akitoka anazidi kuradicalize watu, anazidi kubrainwash watu, anazidi kuumiza community.
On Friday, police arrested 4 Pastor Mackenzie bodyguards and 3 of his assistants as they race against time to find a mass grave where more than 30 people are said to be buried after they fasted to death.
La ujasusi. Wakati sect kama hiyo imepatikana, ilikuwa takana tayari washaweka officers wao chini na wana observe vile activities za hiyo sect. Ndio isifike pale watu wanakaa njaa mpaka wanakufa kabla serikali haijajua. Ili kitu kilikuwa imekuwa wameshainip mapema.
Pastor Mackenzie became a person of